For people that stop a GLP-1 medication, they can expect to see full weight regain within 1 to 3 years. 80 to 95% of all people using this medication will regain all of the weight. I stopped Mounjaro 6 months ago. In this video, we're going to look at exactly what's happened in the last 6 months and what exactly my weight is saying today. Now, this doesn't need to be a really long video. This just needs to be a cut to the chase, what's happened and where we're at now. Has the last 6 months been easy? No, it hasn't, but it hasn't been as difficult and relentless as I thought it was going to be. My biggest fear about stopping Mounjaro was that all the good habits that I put in place that lost me the weight, because yes, Mounjaro took away the food noise and it reduced my constant hunger, but I still had to make the active choice to change my diet, change my exercise regime, change my whole lifestyle. My worry was that the minute I stopped the medication, it was out of my system, that all of those habits I wouldn't be able to sustain them. They are manageable and I have managed it. There are some weeks when I don't think about it at all, and there are other weeks where the fundamental issues that I have with food, particularly the propensity to emotionally eat, but those issues, they still remain, and they're where I've had to adopt different tools to manage it. Lots of people have asked about what dose were you on, how long were you on the doses. In May of last year, I started off on 2.5 milligrams of Mounjaro. I only stayed on 2.5 milligrams for 4 weeks because I believed that you had to titrate up after 4 weeks. That was the general advice at that point. In hindsight, I wouldn't have done that. I was then on 5 milligrams for 8 weeks, and I then titrated up to 7.5 milligrams, where I stayed for the remainder of my journey until November. And then I hit my target weight, and then in the beginning of November, I went back down to 5 milligrams, where I stayed for 5 weeks, and then I did 3 weeks on 2.5 milligrams before I stopped completely. In the dosing video, I'll go into a little bit more around why I don't think that was the best plan, so don't forget to look out for that one. Being honest, when I began to come down 5 milligrams, the food noise and the hunger came back. However, at that point, I had something different to work towards, and that's probably been my biggest motivator. As somebody who has been fat for most of their life, I'm talking morbidly obese fat, apart from a couple of months here and there where I might lose a little bit of weight but not be able to sustain it, I'd always imagined what life would be like as a thin person. I'd never really been able to put it into action. Getting there applies a different level of pressure because you have it and you know exactly what you have to lose as opposed to sort of a daydream of it. But it also was a huge motivator, going out and buying clothes. And there's a trapping around food because when you're overweight, or when I was overweight, I ate what I wanted, but I always felt immense guilt around it. Now, I don't feel guilt around food anymore, but I just have to actively make better choices, and I have to hit a protein and a fiber goal every day, and I have to have an awareness of calories. Some people will go, oh, that's a food disorder. It's really not. Actually, it's sensible. It's sensible to have that, because one thing I'm never going to be, and one thing I'm absolutely not now that I've been on Mounjaro and I've stopped Mounjaro, is an intuitive eater. Because even though on Mounjaro there were times I wasn't hungry and I often didn't think about food, I still had to make an active choice to eat better quality food than just the crap that I was eating before. All of those things they require a bit of work, and there are weeks when there's stuff going on. I really have to work at it. And throughout this whole journey in the last 6 months, I've had 4 weeks where I've really struggled with that. So to put into context, out of 6 months, I've had 4 weeks, which leads me to the scales and the statistics for me, and hopefully this will inspire others. And in the whole 7 months I used Mounjaro, I lost 90 something pounds, in total taking me to 158 pound weight loss in a little over a year. Began to titrate down, and then I stopped Mounjaro. I lost an additional 10 pounds. And there have been weeks when I've gained weight and then I've lost it again and gained weight. Now I've just had, and I'm in the process of having, a very difficult time personally at the moment. I will be honest, I ate the emotions. It was a hungry caterpillar fortnight, and I ate my way through everything. This house had been made of food, I would have eaten it. It was sort of like that. I gained 7 pounds-ish in those 2 weeks, and then I lost 3 pounds. When I stood on the scales this morning, I weigh 138 pounds, which means in the 6 months that I've stopped Mounjaro, I am up 4 pounds, which is well within my target range. If someone had said to me, when you stop Mounjaro, you will be 6 pounds under my sort of baseline target weight, I would have snapped your hand off for that. Like, I would have been like, absolutely. Nothing has changed. This 4 pounds hasn't changed anything. My clothes don't feel different. I don't feel different, but I'm well within my target range 6 months later. I'm still in a size 10. I have a size 8 pair of jeans that have got a bit of stretch that I can wear, but I'm mostly in a size 10, sometimes a 12. I'm quite tall, I'm 5'10", so you know, I'm not a petite dainty little thing. That's where I am now, 6 months post Mounjaro. And I'll be honest, not a huge amount has changed since I stopped this. I still pretty much eat the same. Yes, I'm hungrier. Yes, the food noise is there. But in terms of sort of processes of life, not a huge amount has changed. I just have difficult weeks and I have to work on those weeks. But again, you choose your hard. In my target range, I'm only 4 pounds up from my lowest weight, when realistically, I think at 5'10", 9 stone something, 9 stone 8 or whatever I was probably too low anyway. So I think my body is finding its own balance. I probably feel more in control overall than I have, but part of that control is understanding that I'll never fully be in control, if that makes any sense, because actually these issues with eating I had before I began gaining weight when I was 12. I had issues with food dating back for like 7. I can remember going to the corner shop and buying chocolate and just ramming it in seconds. And anyway, I've rambled on for too long. 6 months in, still 138 pounds is my weight. So 154 pounds down, I think. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this has given everybody that is thinking of stopping the medication hope. As I said, do subscribe to the channel. There's a lot about this journey and what I've implemented to get me to this point. And I'm just about to release that sort of bumper video, which hopefully will chart everything, and the doses video, which we go into sort of weight month by month, doses month by month, and side effects. Thank you for watching, and I hope everyone's having an amazing week, and I will see you in the next one.